Hey, collective. I hope you've been looking good, feeling good, smelling good, eating good, drinking good, thinking good thoughts, having a good time, sharing good energy in good places with good people, doing good things. All right. The title of this reading is about dehumanization is a complex phenomenon. Let's see. Let me make sure you guys can hear me. All right. There we go. Okay. So I do have some notes on these. So the purpose of them dehumanizing you, collective, is so that they could perceive you as less than human, to try to strip you of your inherent dignity and worth, right? So, dehumanization makes it easier to inflict harm or mistreat people because it removes the psychological barriers associated with harming another human being. All right, let's see. What card are we going to get out? So, what do we need to know about this dehumanization? Um, yeah, this is inhumanness characterized by cruelty and a lack of compassion. This can stem from a variety of psychological factors, often interacting in complex ways. What was that? Ooh, a lot of it has to do with childhood too. Let's see. Now, some of the mechanisms that they can use are categorizing you by stereotyping. So they can say, "Oh, this person is a musician, so all musicians are flighty," or "Oh, this person is, in the entertainment industry, so they're always, sleeping around," or things like that. So basically, by trying to help others categorize you and stereotype you is one of the ways that they dehumanize you. Often using images and metaphors. So basically, comparing people to animals. So that maybe have something that they said, or insects. Um, Or if someone has a disease, that can diminish their perceived humanity. So, wow, these both came out in reverse. Wow, yeah. So these people tend to harbor a lot of disharmony. They have a lot of trust issues. They're chemically and emotionally, mentally imbalanced. They seek out conflict, um, only to kind of disconnect, and then take a lack of accountability. So these people aren't ever, in a loving energy. Loving energy doesn't exist for them. This other one, ooh, and they got a lot of trouble coming in. Sit out the frying pan, and I keep getting this energy of like, if you can't take the heat, get your ass out the kitchen. Yeah, they're having a lack of progress with being able to continue to dehumanize you or stereotype you with others. Another way that they do that is through moral disengagement. So justifying their horrible and harmful actions by minimizing the severity of the consequences, or by blaming the victims. So minimizing the consequences, which I don't think they're able to do. But that's probably what they did. That's the illusion that they kept over everybody. So if they could dehumanize you, right, and then categorize you and stereotype you, then it will lead to moral disengagement. So they morally disengage from their morals to justify their harmful actions and minimize the severity of the consequences that they were having. Wow. They wanted you to drop your balance, because that came out on the ground. They wanted you to drop like your balance, your peace, your patience, or just not know when to have it and when not to. Which, if you're an intuitive person, that's just not a reality for you, right? You're able to, moderate the situations, remain calm, have a perspective that comes from tranquility, like a personal tranquility. Um, Ooh, wow. And this is coming out just to match their lack of empathy, because that's the next thing. It's like a reduced capacity to understand and share the feelings of others. So they don't share the same feelings of balance, of peace, of patience, moderation, inner calm, perspective, right? So that's what ends up happening. They have that reduced capacity to understand and share feelings of others. And it leads to inhumanness that makes people act without empathy, right? Individuals may be less likely to recognize the pain or suffering that they're causing to people, making it easier for them to act cruelly when they do this, because they don't empathize with you. They don't, oh, this or that. Wow. Yeah, because they stay stuck in this disharmonious energy. They stay stuck, you know, just in their own. Ugh. Ugh. Wow. Wow, it's really a chemical imbalance because that word's come out here too many times already. And they feel unequal to you because they can't do that. Like they feel unequal, they feel incompatible. This typically is an unhappy couple. You know, if there's a couple that's, you know, together, where, you know, they're unhappy because they dehumanize each other, you know. You know, he's a dog, you know. She ain't nothing but a rat. You see what I'm saying? That's their energy. All their cards are coming out in reverse too, which is wild. They were maybe even trying to balance themselves out with your energy, is what it looks like. Now, there are other, let's see. There are often, like for instance, people feel more empathy towards a group than for people outside of the group. So like, oh, I'm an AKA, so I don't socialize with, you know, I only hang out with sorority sisters kind of energy, right? This is the social and situational factors that lead people to conform to that obedience. So they don't even think, they think they're free, you know, but they're conforming, you know, to this level of obedience that individuals engage in to be able to continue doing inhumane things, right? Or to show that they're obeying their authority figures, if there are any, because it doesn't sound like anybody should be leading these rooms. Like, what? And these people even do that even if it goes against their personal values because of the group. It's the whole group thinking. They think that they're thinking for themselves, but they're not. They're in groupthink. You know, that's the social and situational fact of conformity and obedience. Then they may also use this diffusion of responsibility. Oh, well, it's not mine. Yeah, they may regret that they diffused that responsibility because it looks like it's coming out. Yeah, the lack of acknowledgement of the responsibility for what they've done has caused them to really be sad, to have a lot of losses, a lot of grief. Wow, this does not look good. I just feel like they're going to feel like a long way from home. Like wherever they were trying to start out at, they're going to feel like there's a long way. And I get the energy like that water here in between this house over here, which is where they're trying to get, right? And right here, that water is deep. That water is deep. Because it has to have the process of kind of like a baptism. They have to immerse themselves in good energy or they're going to stay like this. You know? Okay, so this is the other one that came home. Ooh, came home. Ooh, maybe there's somebody out here that don't like coming home every day. Because this is coming right under like disharmony, trust issues, like bad relationships. This is the Four of Wands in reverse. They are not happy. Their families, maybe even things have been canceled. Maybe even plans with families, or someone's plan to maybe leave home. Maybe they're going to have to go back home, someone in this community. Okay. So when they shared that, when they share the group shares the responsibility, it helps them to conform. It helps them to diffuse the responsibility. And it helps them to think that they have a power dynamic. So they have this unequal power relationship that can create an environment where inhumane treatment is more likely to occur. So these people felt like, oh, it's more of us than there are you. Yeah, that's what's giving them this. That's why they're in all this anxiety now about this trouble that's coming in, trying to have this unequal power, you know, or assume that they did. Unequal power relationships can create environments where inhumane treatment is more likely to occur. So the personal traits, the psychopathy and narcissism that individuals with these traits exhibit are a lack of empathy, a lack of remorse, a willingness to exploit others, you know. Some even with authoritative personalities, they even may be more likely to dehumanize outgroups and engage in aggression because of their mental issues, you know, the psychopathy and narcissism that exist. Let's see. Ooh, it says other factors that are like fears. Their fears are that you're a threat. They perceive you as a threat because you are, right? They perceive you as a threat because you are. You are indeed a threat. You know, if it's going against your will, yeah, Like essentially, because it's like it doesn't become a problem until they cross that border, until they try to cross the line, it's not a problem. But when they do, that's when the problem comes up. This is interesting. Wow. So if they can dehumanize other groups, then they are more likely to engage in aggression towards them. Wow. I guess because we don't typically think like that. Like divine beings don't think like that. We take people for what they are. If they're for us, they're not. They are, and if they're not, they're not. Nobody's a threat to us personally. We don't. There's no ideology within our realm. We don't idolize other people. We don't put people on a pedestal before ourselves. And that's just the reality. It has to be you first, right? That's the money shot right there, is keeping yourself first, right? Wow. And then it has the nine of pentacles. So perceiving others as a threat essentially allows them to idealize and spread propaganda, so that certain ideologies and propaganda can promote dehumanization and justify the violence amongst specific groups. A lot of childhood trauma and abuse, traumatic experiences impacts this development. So they're not even developed beyond their childhood, is what I'm understanding. These traumatic experiences, this trauma and abuse, whether they engaged in it against someone or they received it themselves. More often than not, people experience things themselves and they take it out on others, right? So those things have impacted their emotional development. The way it's impacted the emotional development is that it's increased the risks of engaging in inhumane behavior. So, wow. These people really need to work on their spirit. Inhumanness is a complex phenomenon with multiple contributing factors. The specific combination of factors leading to inhumane behavior can vary significantly. Understanding these psychological drivers is crucial for preventing and addressing instances of inhumanness. Wow. So these people are tied to an earthly contract with themselves. Before they can even connect with anybody, they have to, even if they're married and they have a spouse, they will never be able to connect with their person that they're with, because of the fact that they haven't even grasped that they have their own contract with their highest self to fulfill. That's why these people are like, just all over the place. Oh, wow. There's a lot of discord. A lot of disunion. A lot of people being disarmed right now, too. And you typically observe without connecting. You wait a while. Like Janet Jackson. Let's wait a while. Yes. You typically do that. You typically wait a while because you want to, this part of this being astute, honest, truthful, protective, principled, fair, constructive, So those are the things that aid you. Wow. Wow. Okay, so let's touch back real quick on these contracts. So they're in a soul contract with themselves, right? You're always in a contract with your highest self, right? Now, what's happened in these instances, they are attached to a demonic entity by way of outnumbered soul connections. So it's kind of like if you had a soulmate, the connection dissipates once you keep connecting with more souls. Now, it's funny because an aunt of mine told me that her best friend, which is another female, was her soulmate. And I got that because they were like peas in a pod, but they were totally straight, which is neither here nor there, but it's like they were soulmates. Now, what I've understood is like when you continue to connect with a lot of souls, because spiritual purity and spiritual cleanliness comes from not socializing. So you won't find divine beings out at the club. I'm gonna just keep it 100. You're not gonna find them in none of the mess that you would find most other people, just because it opens up to more negative energy. Some people, really value that, value their spiritual purity. Value not having a bunch of messy people around them, putting their name in drama and all the rest of that. Wow. So I want people to understand too, that even though you may use contraceptives, that prevents you from catching STDs and having children, but your soul is separate and it forms its own bond. Okay, I'm gonna say that again. Even if you wear prophylactics, your soul is separate, right? You can't touch the soul, right? You can't protect the soul with a condom, right? And that's why these bonds are still formed. And that's why it can happen with people like, you could just have a friend who's just, out for the outside, and hanging around that person is going to breed a lot more of that energy around you, right? And I did do a reading on soul ties, but I think it kind of went over people's heads. People don't believe that, like, oh, you can do it whoever you want to. Yeah, that's your soul, and you're creating a new contract with somebody. And then that's the other part too. These people think that they can get out of these karmic contracts. Think that being with a divine partner is going to get them out of these contracts. Well, that's not the case. Essentially, the only way out of a karmic contract is to heal. So if these people are stuck with people that they don't want to be with, yeah. Ooh, wow. These people are SOL. It looks like they've realized that like they were hasty, that they were even gullible. You know what I mean? Like they realized that they've been taken for a fool, which they are. I can't call it any other way, They're not having any type of creative ideas. They don't have any goals or plans outside of what they were already doing as well. Yeesh. So that makes it even worse for them. And I can see why they're in a lot of anxiety, probably having like the worst stomachs of their lives. Okay. Let's see. So that connecting with multiple souls. So these are not soul contracts anymore. Your soul is in the contract with your highest self. And only individuals that can actually ascend. So like I said, these people talk about that took these karmic contracts and signed them with people. They can't get out of them until they ascend. Like the only way out is through. I've said that too many times at this point, but they'll see. Like the only way out for us was by ascending, correct? Okay, there we go. So anyway, they've not only severed the earthly opportunity to grow with you and like the spiritual opportunity as well, but the option of you spiritually is gone because of the mating with so many people, or because of the getting in cahoots, having the friends that like to go run the streets or whatever. That's what has severed that soul contract with you, because as you ascend, it's two different directions, right? Okay. So they severed their earthly opportunity to grow with you and severed the option of you spiritually by mating with so many other souls, that they also chose to embrace their inhumanness. Okay, so that's the other thing that breaks that soul contract, if they even had one, or the option of it. Because again, nothing's set in stone until you've completely ascended, right? Then you can move on. But they chose to embrace their inhumanness, right? And that refers to the quality of them lacking humane feelings, right? Compassion or kindness. So a lot of people may have realized too, like, oh, these people never really cared about me. Oh, they never really loved me. How could they do this? A lot of us can't wrap our minds around it because we just would never. Even if we understood it, we would not do it, right? This person, whoever these people are, they have a disposition to inflict pain or suffering on others, or a disregard for the well-being of living beings. What's got to do with that? You've had this patience during this period of defeating. Wow, they're lost in the sauce. These people are completely confused about where they're headed. They see you. All they know, though, is mostly about like your patience. They don't know how you did what you did because they don't understand what the lessons are. They don't sit still enough. They don't sit still long enough. They think it's boredom. That was in my boredom and love reading. They think it's boredom, but really it's peace. But they wouldn't know how to embrace it because they're like this. Their brains are like fried. They're scattered, especially if they were doing spell work, because it goes right back. You're only susceptible to a spell if you don't take the process of learning the lessons and start to ascend, right? Grow to be a better person, right? And not be inhumane. Ugh, these people. So these are demonic entities by way of outnumbered soul connections. No contraceptives could help them, essentially. Maybe they thought that they could. And this is not your problem, right? At the end of the day, they're tied to their own earthly contracts with themselves before they can try to connect with anyone. So like I said, even if they have a spouse, there will be discord. There will be fighting. Same things that you guys experience. Cheating, lying, stealing, all this stuff. All this disunion is going to be exhibited. Wow, wow, wow. Wow. And you continually just sit there observing without any connection. Yeah, it's back to that wait a while energy. You just sit there in this happy family, like happy about where you're going, happy about, homecomings, reunions, marriage, long-term relationships, stability, and security. Like you triumph all of that with this Ten of Cups here. That's beautiful. That's really great. Yeah, maybe that's the message that's kind of coming in about the celebration and everything too, which I think is really awesome for the collective. Okay. Let's see if we can get some info on like who are the inhumane individuals that are in the collectives for trying to be in the collective's business, because it's against our spiritual beliefs to share our business. I was talking about that to someone the other day. Okay. Ooh. Okay, so somebody's looking you up right now. So there are people kind of like, I don't know, just being nosy busy bodies. They're looking you up because they see that you're having fun, you're in the swing of things, you're being playful. You may be spending time with your children if you have them, or doing things that you used to enjoy in your childhood, and just overall having a really playful energy right now. Yeah, it's because you're in this energy of building these relationships. Ooh, wow. It's because you're in this building of these relationships. Like while these people are in confusion, and then the Seven of Cups, you're in a building energy with friendships and relationships that are connecting and building for you. Wow. Maybe there's somebody drinking heavily that's kind of longing for your energy. They're stressed out, it seems, about their life. They're in this jam energy, so they got themselves up. You locked up, they won't let you out. Locked up. Isn't Akon in trouble? Is that who that was? There's somebody else like in trouble for fraud or something like that. So maybe that's something that's ooh. Okay, so maybe there's somebody who was being a narcissist who's trying to work on that, or maybe that's this narcissist that's still trying to look up and see what you're doing. Yeah, to get in your business. Clearly, they don't have none, and their karmic friends, it looks like, are not working with them. It's like it feels like this energy, this Ten of Cups, is too strong for anybody to try to like thwart anything. But this narcissist is definitely, maybe that's their biggest struggle right now, is trying to be in your business. Yeah, they feel it. They're feeling real played out. I'm getting an energy of how like, how like somebody was here and there, and then how they fire the pistol at the start of the race. Somebody didn't hear it, and so that's how they feeling played out in this instance. Yeah, they painted this picture of all this stuff, but it's like none of it came to fruition. They didn't build anything. They never built anything. So even if they wanted to take your destiny, it's like, what did you build in order to create the destiny for yourself? Wow, an ego. That's funny. Maybe that's what's hurting their ego, is they're realizing like they didn't build anything on their own. So it's like, what could you do in somebody else's destiny if you just don't have like, somebody that was into you has been rejected too? Because you have a new lover. You have this new lover, this new romance. So people who are into you, you're rejecting them. You have a bond, is what I'm hearing. You have a special bond. Yeah. Wow. I'm feeling like maybe even somebody's delegating some responsibilities too, or this connection will help to delegate some of the responsibilities from one person to the other, and it'll bring a lot of comfort to you guys, because neither one of you work out of your ego, or none of your soul tribe, they don't work out of ego. They work out of, truth and clarity and realness and humane treatment, which is a whole huge part of it. Let me look at the last part of this title really quick. Make sure I got everything. Yep. So I do not recommend that you dehumanize another individual. Yeah, you need to work smart. That's what, in order to receive what you want in this lifetime, you definitely need to work smart. That's maybe what they're seeing now. Like maybe that's what's overpowering their ego. Maybe people are wanting to have like really good, long, it says infinity, reproduction of, this is a life partner. This is somebody that you've had, experiences with in previous lifetimes and it lasted. Again, that was a part of something that downloads that I got a long time ago, like maybe 2 years ago, was just about how, let's see, the infinity, reproduction of infinity. Oh, there's a certain amount of previous lives that you go through with another person to quantify them as your true love, that you guys will find each other. Infinity times infinity times infinity. Like this love and romance is always going to be reproduced for infinity. That's just the reality of it. If you've, been here before, I don't know how else to say it. If you've been here before, and you're one of those educators, that's got knowledge about the Akashic records and, just spirituality in general and what the lessons are, how to cleanse yourself, all these different things. And essentially you're working smart. That's what's bringing you all of this. Wow. Looks like you're getting a lot more. You'll get like a lot more vitality. Maybe that's also part of it that they don't realize. Maybe they think that you are all about aesthetics, right? That you work out so you can look good. And that's one thing, right? But you also do it because you know that when it's not about looking good, like if you're like, okay, well, I've been on my game, I'm gonna take a break from working out for a little while. The fact that you have the knowledge of like being balanced with it and not forgetting it. But these people often think that you're doing it for like superficial reasons, just for aesthetics, They maybe even use that like, oh, this person's so focused on their body, or this person, that's all they care about, or, maybe that's something that they use to dehumanize you, and allow people to kind of intimidate you or threaten you, or, get people on board with trying to intimidate or threaten you. But it didn't bother you is what I'm understanding. Like, yeah, because this leader is sticking out right underneath this. Like this leader card is right underneath this. There's a lot of deceit. That's what people are being made aware of too, because that educator card just snuck out again over that deceit. So people are being educated on the deceit, on like how people can frame these types of attitudes to help other people dehumanize them. And I think it can be just even as simple as saying, well, she's a dog or he's a dog. People start to look at you like that. You're no longer a human. Now you're an animal, and it changes everything, right? Words of spells. Nice. Okay. Maybe there's a friend that's an athlete that maybe divine masculine rejected. If the divine feminine is like me, essentially we drink our water and mind our business. Like this is also the energy right now for the divine feminine, is that if you are not in front of me, then you must be behind me. If you are not in my present moment, if you are not in my present life, you must be behind me. And that's where these people are going to stay. Yeah. So maybe people are learning how to, cock block these other negative energies, possibly, how to keep these other people out of their energy. Yeah. And how to heal, how to have that opportunity to heal and change and grow. That's nice. Yeah, it's going to bring a lot of harmony, whatever's being taught by the divine beings. Okay. All right. So it's almost been 30 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here now. I'll pull a few more cards. Let's see. Wow. People are really learning from these lovers. People are going to really learn. People are going to have no choice, though, because essentially everybody wants love. Everybody needs love, right? A lot of people didn't realize how much they were getting from the divine beings and, misused it as a result. And now they're in this student energy. Yeah, because of these gray, murky situations. There's more to be seen, and that's why you looked deeper. These people are sinking into depressions. These people are definitely sinking. Oh, because of the legal trouble. Yikes. Stripes. Yeah. because whatever is happening in this legal situation is that it's definitely confirming that these people are wolves in sheep's clothing. Oh, wow. And to distance yourself from them. That's wild that these cards just slid off like that. So, yeah. What else is here? Yep. Take off is right behind take off and distance. So that may be already what everybody did, right? And now these people are sitting suffering in silence as they should. As they should. Yeah. All right. I hope that this has been helpful and insightful in some way, shape, or form to help understand the mindset of these individuals. The process of dehumanizing the collective. You know, oh, this person's an alien. Oh, this person's a psychic. Oh, this person's a this. Oh, this person's a that. You know, it dehumanizes you. Oh, this person's a hoe. It dehumanizes you. It makes you become, you know, an object, you know, versus an actual person. So that's the mental instability or mental, I don't know, I feel like somebody's brain is fried, you know, trying to understand their own behavior. And it's because they don't see the lessons in it. Again, it's all about the growth and the lessons. Like, what is this teaching me? How am I playing a part in this? What should I be doing? What, you know, what should I not be doing? Anything else here for this last? Let's see. There is another deck. Okay, let me get this other deck down here. All right. Woo. Okay, so there's this transformation happening. And I'm getting like, yeah, that's the individuals in their North Node right now. It's that spirit of the North, right? So the individuals that are in their North Node right now, 31 and 40, transforming. Oh, and this is the other thing that I want to put out there too. If you have already been under the impression to leave the past people behind, then you definitely shouldn't be under the impression that the past person is coming back to reunite with you. Like, it's a past life energy. Even if you guys know each other, you know, to some extent, it's not somebody that you've already had a tumultuous relationship. This is a new person. Maybe you'll find that out more if you ask, you know, for more guidance from your dreams or something like that. Or maybe people are seeing that in their own dreams too. Nice. Yeah. So don't fall under the illusion that it's a past person, because you're not supposed to take people back from the past. Yeah. You're supposed to be out here running with the wolves. Doing you. All right. Last few or one, please, for. There we go. Wow. The ancients. All right. Let me open this up and see what this is about. The ancients are a collective of all beings who have walked Mother Earth's surface before you. They are the trees, the animals, the plants, the ancestors whose bodies have returned to the soil to become one with the earth again. They are always watching out for you and supporting you in ways you can't imagine. Oh yeah, that's the protection here. I knew it was going to come out. They are always watching out for you and supporting you in ways you can't imagine. You can call on them at any time, but they are especially helpful when you feel as though your back is against the wall. There's no shame in seeking support. There are some things that are too big for you to handle on your own. The ancients have come to your reading because your situation needs a helping hand from a higher power. This card presents itself when you have done everything you can to make something work or change your situation, and still that is not enough. There's no more for you to do at this time. You're being guided to surrender your troubles to the ancients, who will facilitate the best possible outcome. If you guys have been hearing this in other readings, that like, oh yeah, your ancestors is taking care of you. You just float, okay? This message is especially important if you have also pulled the prayer card. That just came out a second ago. I saw that literally right before this. Nice. Sometimes what you need to do is very simple. Pray. Light a white candle and sit in prayer with your guides, the ancients. Let them know that you are aware of their presence. Let them know that you surrender to the process and will let go of your heavy heart, trusting that all will work out in good time. Ask them to assist you and let them know that you need their focus right now in order to feel fully supported. So that's likely where you guys are right now. You've been working with your guides. You feel fully supported. You're ready to move to the next level. You've done everything that you were supposed to. And so this is the movement or the time where you let go of working towards helping others to see the light, if you will, or helping others, or I don't know, it has something to do with being, connected to other people is what I'm hearing. So removing all of those connections. All right, I hope that this has been helpful, insightful in some way, shape, or form, and I will catch you.
And make sure to like and subscribe.
Make sure to like and subscribe.
Also, I have a dog named Mimi.